So I feel anxious a lot. I get anxiety, and there are times when I stop and think, why am I anxious? What is that I'm actually feeling? And I honestly don't even know sometimes. Sometimes anxiety is just like a state that shows up. Other times, there's a reason. Like I might think, okay, I'm anxious. Why? Okay, I'm anxious. I'm not gonna get that job. But then I start thinking, what does that actually mean? If I don't get the job, okay, then maybe I don't have enough money. If I don't have enough money, I won't be able to pay my bills. And then I go, okay, well, what's scary about that? Well, if I can't pay my bills, then I don't have a roof over my head. And then if I don't have a roof over my head, maybe I freeze to death or starve, essentially die. And I realized something. For me, that trail feels scary because I personally find death tragic. So it doesn't really take away my anxiety. It just helps me to kind of establish where it might be coming from deep down. The idea of dying feels frightening to me. So in my mind, my anxiety is almost justified. And then another thought showed up. What is our relationship with death as human beings? Because how do we actually feel about it? Because somebody else might see death differently, and someone else might find it peaceful or comforting, or even, they might even welcome it. And if that's true, then maybe they could follow the exact same trail when they feel anxious, follow it all the way back to death and think, okay, well, death isn't so bad, so why am I so anxious? And maybe for that person, it actually removes some of the anxiety. But for me, that's where I get stuck, because for me, death still feels frightening. I don't know, maybe I'm not even saying this right, but I thought it was interesting.
Julie, I think what you just said is really interesting, because most of us think anxiety is about the thing sitting right in front of us, the job, the bills, the relationship, the diagnosis. Whatever it is, we say, I'm anxious about this. But then you did something different. You followed the trail. You kept asking, okay, and then what? And then what? And then what? And eventually, you hit bedrock, death, or maybe more accurately, your relationship to death. And that made me wonder something. Maybe anxiety isn't really fear. Maybe anxiety is uncertainty, trying to protect life. Like some ancient little alarm system saying, hey, pay attention. Something matters here. Because if you think about it, our brains evolved in a world where danger actually meant danger. No shelter, bad news. No tribe, bad news. No food, really bad news. So maybe part of us still reacts like we're one cold night away from wolves and winter, even while standing in a grocery store or sitting in traffic or worrying about an email. But then you wandered into something deeper, because two people could follow the same trail all the way back. Same fear, same chain of events, same destination, death. And one person says, that's terrifying. And another says, maybe that's peace. And suddenly, the anxiety changes. Not because the situation changed, because the meaning changed. And maybe that's the wild part. Maybe anxiety isn't always asking, what are you afraid of? Maybe sometimes it's asking, what do you believe? And man, that feels like a whole other conversation.